Good evening, everybody. Let's stand and do the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sitting?
We're sitting. Oh, I got this thing here. All right, let's start off with any public input. What did you guys do?
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
we didn't get you in time to get you on the agenda, so if you want to come on up and give us your spiel.
Give us a chance to warm up here.
Okay.
Thanks for coming. See you
Well, thanks
later.
for having us.
Oh, I thought you were done.
Okay, if it's that simple.
Yeah.
Starting with humor, that's good.
Just so if anybody else wants to know what's going on, it's, they want to look and tell us a little bit about the upgrades, right? On the balconies,
Yep.
just over here? Okay.
Yes, yep, in the Walton Theatre, the WPTA.
So I'll just start with when we met with you before, but
Yep.
the rest of you didn't hear it. WTPA, I don't know, 10 years we've been doing this, and the idea originally was to restore a real treasure. But we didn't want to just turn it into a museum. We wanted it to be also a working venue that brings people to town and so on. So over those years we've done, well, I gave you a list, and I've got another list here if anybody else wants it, of just some of the things we've done. New curtains, house lights, stage lights. We're upgrading the sound right now. Just a variety of things we're cleaning the walls, because the walls were almost black from years of cigarette smoking and cigar smoking. And then we've done, when we talk about the lights and the sound, we're talking about things to make it a more useful venue.
Right.
So we, at this point, got to the point where we realized that nothing has been done with the balcony. I mean, it still has the original wooden seats. The floors have a lot of antique gum on the floor, and basically nothing's been done up there other than a number of years ago, we put in a basic sound booth up there, or, a table where it could be operated. So we thought this should be our next project, and the idea was to upgrade the seats. I'm jumping into your part of this.
Well, that's okay. No, fine.
Upgrade the seats and you remove all the seats and do the floors and
Replace all the seats with new
replace.
seats.
But we will keep
One
two
row,
rows or
yep.
one row
One row
of
of
the
full.
antique seats, but ones that are restored, because a lot of them over the years people have peeled off the veneer and but we
Put down
think there's enough of them to salvage, and if not, we'll get them repaired.
Carpeting.
Carpeting.
Some carpeting up there for the sound.
So that's
Some
basically
just
it.
new furniture.
Yeah, we're going to put a few little tables using we've got piles and piles of the old reels from film. And so who was it that did it for
Northeast
us?
at the time, yeah, Northeast. They're not called that now. What are they
Empire.
called?
Empire, yeah.
Okay, yes.
They figured out a way to put well, I was going to say plexiglass. I don't think it's plexiglass, but a glass top on it, using these reels as the tabletops, and those will be over on the little side wings of the balcony.
Okay.
And you want to show? We have a little diagram. It's a little hard to see. It's not the one we'll have one. But basically, in the wings,
how you wanna
if
look
you all are
at it that
familiar with
way.
the balcony, there's wings on the side of the theater. And they have been, there's some seats over there, but over the years, some seats, I guess, have been taken out. And we're gonna make little tables and chairs over there. And then in the center, in front of the projection booth and where the sound table will be. I mean, it is there now, but we're gonna make it smaller. There'll be two little box seat type of things, so just for a little touch of class, I guess.
That's what I was going to say.
And then up here on that hall, piece up
Where you
there
go
is
into
where you
the-
get into this projection room.
Right.
So that's not used for anything. So what we're going to do is remove the seats directly in front of that and then put a counter type of thing with tall stools. So it'll be the same amount of seating, but it'll just be a little more interesting.
Okay. Anybody else want to look at it?
Oh, I can see it.
You guys?
Sure.
Yeah, it's hard to see because those sections are not highlighted, but
I think it's a good idea to do that, but everything actually is going to be going through, where's Steve over there?
I'm here.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we'll work
oh
with
no,
them.
we're
Work with code enforcement to get everything going before, get everything all squared away before we give you the final go-ahead on it. But
yeah, no, that's
I think it's definitely a project that you probably guys could, get it to the point where the code can get it up to where we can approve it.
I think Steve is seeing the fact that we're
I
actually.
met with Ken
All right, yeah.
a couple of weeks ago. Out of that, Ken and I only briefly talked about the whole railing issue, but after the fact, I got to thinking about it. That railing up there is 30 inches high. I don't know that the height of the tables and stools was spelled out when he and I met, but that would be a pretty substantial concern of mine. If you have an elevated stool around an elevated table right next to the railing, that's probably bad juju. So either something would have to be done to address the railing if that's the way we wanted to go, so that they have higher seating, or I have to ensure that these tables and chairs were setting low enough.
They're bolted. They would be bolted. The table would be bolted.
Well, he's
and the
talking about
chairs-
the height, though.
Yep,
That's-
I know
and
he is.
we understand that
Which is,
concern.
yeah, 42, 30. But yeah, we'll work
So
with you.
we're aware of that, and
Yeah.
this is very much in the early stages of design, and we just want to keep you aware of what we're talking about.
So, Ken, the only other thing, as far as, basically what I saw, I didn't see any, egress issues, nothing, none of that is going to be affected, so I wasn't really concerned about that. I don't care what you sit in up there, that's really no concern of mine. And just the only other code thing, at that meeting anyway, was electric. So there would be some new electric runs, so, and basically that's just getting a third-party electrical inspector in there.
Right.
So the project, as I have seen it and discussed it, those were my concerns, and that's where I stand.
So,
Yeah.
I think, is everybody in agreement to let them go ahead and take a look at things? Yes, that's what I feel too, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And they said just keep Steve abreast of what's going
We
on
will.
before we approve everything before you do it. and We'll be good.
No problem.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Bruce, did you have anything on public?
Yes. Couple months, the mayor had mentioned to me about what the IDA has done for the village and town of Walton. Here's a handout that you can get. I've been on the Delaware County IDA probably close to 10 years now. We have done approximately over $600,000 in loans to small businesses mainly in the village of Walton. We had private investments on that money of over $800,000. So we've helped Walton grow by, over $1.5 million. We also have done some revitalization projects, which brought another couple $100,000 to the community to help businesses. We helped Rolling V purchase land in the industrial park, which employs at least 50 people, and they seem to be continually growing. We were instrumental in help getting the governor's office involved in the Heinz Craft plant when they were talking about shutting down and leaving. So the IDA has done quite a bit for the community. We are willing to help any business in the community if we can. I put the phone number on the bottom of it. If anybody is interested in contacting the IDA, they'll gladly sit down and talk to them. We have a committee with about 6 members on it. We meet once a month and we review all applicants, and we've been doing some farm loan programs. So there's quite a bit going on to the IDA. I mean, they've helped the town and village of Walton dramatically. In addition to that, Delaware County Watershed Affairs has done a tremendous amount of work for us in the town and village of Walton. I mean, they secured the funding for the Water Street project, the South Street project. So there's been a lot of action that the town and village of Walton have received from Delaware County and the agencies around us. So I just wanted to bring that to light to you.
Nope, that's good. That's good.
And like I said, if anybody needs help, we're willing to work with them and see if we can help them.
Good deal.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Bruce.
Anybody else this week?
Nope, that's it for that part. Let's go to abstracts, payments of invoices.
There were plenty of invoices this month, and I move that we pay them.
Second that.
Motion made and second to pay the invoices and the abstracts.
Which is a good thing.
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Department heads. Chief, front and center.
Yes, sir.
I know you rushed here after your vacation to get here.
Yeah, I apologize for my
No.
dress, but
It's all right, I wished I was dressed like that instead of this.
They look nice.
Well,
You guys got emails?
yep.
Copies? So compared, this July compared to last July, we had 32 more calls, so still an upswing of things. Getting ready for the fair, that's the big agenda this week. I'll be talking with the sheriff, make sure I'm not missing anything, catching me up on some things. And really, I guess that's it. We had some nice arrests this month, some things that are coming up. The couple, the unclassified there, where it shows that they had the gang assault charge. That's just a follow-up. It's
Yep.
not a separate incident. It's all the same incident. So that was it. There's not.
I've heard some comments, I think a couple of you guys heard comments about the guys out on patrol on foot,
Yeah.
checking stores and going and seeing people, which I
That's
think
good.
is a good thing.
Good.
Get out
Yeah.
and
very positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
get out and
Good.
see the people other than being there to give them a ticket.
Right, yeah, no, I think that's a good thing, brings back the community policing a little bit more,
Yep.
a little bit more approachable.
Yep. Instead of seeing them in a car, see
yeah.
them face to face.
Right,
Get a chance to
yeah.
talk to them.
Like I said, we got a great bunch of guys, just matter of getting them in the right, so they can talk to people a little bit more, so I think we're heading in the right direction.
It's good. Good feedback on it.
All right,
Is that it?
okay, yep. so-
Short and sweet.
All right.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Wait-
you.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute, Joe. Yep. I forgot about this one other thing. That's right. He almost got away.
Almost got it.
Because I think this is all what we had talked about, because we had mentioned that those two iPads that are in the vehicle have
Yes.
to be changed to the,
Okay, so that's the bill we're looking at then?
yep.
Okay,
And I guess we're gonna need some approval on that before, if anybody's, what it is, it's the tablets that are in the vehicles have to be upgraded to accept the monitoring system that the sheriff's department has on patrol cars. Ours came through without those, I think it's-
that's a chip.
The chip
Actually
part
has to be
for it.
installed into two.
and they have the hardware and stuff that we approved back, I think, last November to put them in the cars, but these pads don't have the capability, so we're gonna have to put, what is it,
$838.
$838 to upgrade them so that they'll be, so if anybody needs to know where anybody's at the time, so if there's any distress, or if somebody's out by themselves, something happens, they'll be able to find them.
I think it's a huge officer safety thing. It really, not only inside the village, but God forbid we had to respond outside to an officer needs assistance or something like that, then we'd be able to find them quickly.
And the portion that's doing that is the county got it through a grant, and I believe that's like $4,000,
Right,
a little
yeah.
over $4,000. They've got the equipment ready up there, we just don't have the tablets ready, so we have to
Sure.
finish
Right,
our
so it's that
portion.
much more money that would be would come back for us. As
Yeah.
far as, not having to upgrade it at a later time, we'd be able to piggyback off from that grant.
Yep. So we need approval to have the tablets upgraded at a tune of,
$838.
I'll make a motion to upgrade.
I'll second.
motion made a second to upgrade the pads. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
I'll take that. You need that copy, or do you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Butch. We have that timid look for Butch.
I'm scared.
I'm sure you're scared.
Evening, everybody.
You're not spending any money, there's no need to be afraid.
Not yet.
Yeah. Just so everybody knows too, when we look at the camera here, is that Shepherd Street project is under motion. Guide rails have been taken up. The soil nail company will be here probably
Possibly
Friday, so they can get started ahead of time. Then the guide rail company will be here sometime next week to put the new guide rails, and then we can work on the drainage that we need to, and then hopefully grind and blacktop and have a
New street,
nice new street again.
hopefully.
Yep.
See what happens.
While we were up there, we had one of the people up there wanted to remove their sidewalk that's up there. It's on the corner of Burton and Shepherd, and we've looked it over. Sidewalk hasn't been used in
Right.
years and years. It's not very safe.
That's a dead end sidewalk.
And it's a
Doesn't even
dead-end
go to-
sidewalk, doesn't go anywhere,
Doesn't go
so
anywhere.
my feeling is, he said he would take it up, no charge to the village, reseed it, and it would be done and out of there.
Be yard.
So, I need a motion for somebody to agree that we'll do that.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion made second to remove the sidewalk, no cost to the village, and he's gonna reseed it. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. What else you have, Butch?
Yeah, the 5 sewer main holes that we sealed worked awesome. There's no water whatsoever coming in there now. Their I&I is way down right now, but of course it hasn't rained really significantly, but I've looked at the manholes and they're still dry. So that was a really good thing there.
And that was,
We did 2 on Liberty Street, we did 1 on the top of Townsend Street, 1 on Fair Street down in the fairgrounds, and then 1 just inside the sewer plant in the fence. But we rode around and looked at the ones that were actually leaking. I only found 5 actually leaking because the water table dropped so much. But the real big one on Liberty Street, they sealed that up. I mean, when they got here, the water was still spraying out of the bottom of it in 2 places. And they sealed that thing up live. It's pretty amazing how that worked. So we're really good there. Of course, we got the blacktop, streets were all done. So yes, we're just plugging away along now on Shepherd Street and tidying up things and getting ready for fair. Pretty soon we'll be getting things ready for school traffic as well.
And more water main breaks.
So we haven't had any since last Thursday, right?
don't bring it up.
It's a wooden table.
If it happens late at night, don't forget, you have his number?
No, I do.
You do?
I do.
Give him a call.
And I know where he lives. So, yeah, that was Thursday. We had a water main leak. Water coming out of the ground. So, but we got her. And a lady, there's a lady over there on the end who was very happy with the guys.
We got
the card.
an actual nice thank you note from her. You guys did good.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was all good. That's
Yeah,
pretty much
things
it.
have been looking really nice around the village.
We try. And the mowers are doing a good job. So, that's it. Anything else?
Think of anything for him?
Good. You guys not planning new swings yet?
People have said nice things about the walking trail around Austin Lincoln.
Yes,
And
that's gotten,
work you
yep.
guys have done clearing that up.
Yep, yeah, that was all the summer help mowers and CA workforce, right? We had 2 kids for CA workforce.
Yeah.
Yep, so, well, it's good.
Good deal.
Yep, all right.
Thanks, Butch.
Thank you.
Brian's not listed on here, but you're next, Brian. Oh, perfect.
I've got nothing with this trim at all.
Butch didn't take it all. I lost you. There you are.
All right. Well, the lifeguard's leaving. I need Friday Jordan Condon leaves for college. And so I need like a senior girl or senior boy, someone to kind of be there when I'm not there to kind of be in charge. So I'm putting Samantha Bowker, I'm gonna raise her up to that. I'm starting next Monday, a week from today. So,
I need a motion for that.
Yep. Anybody have that in front of them?
I'll make the motion.
We're raising the rate up. Okay, we got a motion and a second to raise Samantha's pay rate from $11.35 to $11.50 an hour, so she's a supervisor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
All right. Other than that, the pool fair week, our hours are gonna be from 1 to 6, Monday through Saturday. depending on the weather also.
Right.
And after that, it's going to be how many lifeguards I have, and stay open as long as we can. Maybe we have 3 lifeguards, one in the kiddie pool and 2 in the middle section that wouldn't have the diving boards at deep end open up.
Right.
We'll do it as long as we can, as long as the weather cooperates.
Hopefully the weather stays warm enough where we need it.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
July, we didn't have one day we were closed the whole month of July, which is pretty much amazing.
Yeah, no storms to shut you down at all,
Nope,
which is good.
nope. Just somebody threw up in the kiddie pool.
That'll ruin your day.
Yep. Second session, swim lessons, we had 182 kids. The rest of the programs, when the summer's over, I'll give you a breakdown of how many kids we have. But tennis is up, arts and crafts is up. All of them are actually up a little bit, which is good. That's
great.
Yeah, surprising. Other than that,
Looks like it. All right, Brian, thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Craig?
I assume everybody got my report.
Yep.
Are there any questions?
No.
I will say, I did say it in email, but I'll say it again for the listening public, that rag plug we had in that line, we dodged a severe financial bullet on that one. If that made it another 8 foot, we'd have been digging out in the yard and it would have been thousands upon thousands to try to get that cleared up, and that's a very essential part of the process, so.
Yeah.
We definitely dodged one there, so. I'm afraid that this is just gonna, things like this are gonna keep happening, so. I would dare say in the past year, if we look back on big expenses, it's been over $100,000 it's cost taxpayers in this village to flush wipes down the toilet. And it's just getting worse. We've got a grinder sitting over there right now that cost them $41,000 once the bill's paid. That's just to grind this stuff up. So it's not gonna get any better, and I've seen and heard people say it shouldn't cost us any more money. Well, it is. So, once we gotta start digging over there, there's so much stuff buried in that ground. It's not as simple as just digging a hole and cutting a piece of pipe out. There's gonna be electric lines and water lines and waste lines and stuff that's been abandoned for 20 years. It's not gonna be an easy fix.
Easy fix.
Yeah, there's so much interference, they couldn't find the water line in the ground, so.
Just spaghetti in the dirt.
It's basically dig until you rip something up out of the ground and hope like heck you can fix it. So, can't stress enough that, that stuff should not go down the drain.
Nope. Any of the wipes, babies, adults, any of that.
Yeah,
Bag it up, throw it away.
that's right. So,
We probably need to put together some kind of a PR campaign to get the word out far and wide so people stop.
well, the unfortunate part is, when you're in the privacy of your own home, nobody knows you're doing it. So,
Yep, and the stores are they're gonna sell them. So, somebody needs to take care of it so that they're not just say that they're flushable.
Other places having the same problem?
Oh, yeah.
every wastewater plant in this country.
It seems like they could get together and...
There's been class action lawsuits, but they've never gone anywhere. So, I think some companies have changed it from flushable. They've taken flushable off the package, but other companies say, "Oh no, ours are biodegradable." Well, they probably are if they sit in the ground for like 30 years. They'll probably break down. But when you can't pull them apart, then we can't break them apart. So, it's a big thing. So I mean that one right there was slowing down the water about 520 gallons a minute. So it was backing up everything on the back end, and we were having severe problems there. So in the clarifier, so if the sludge blankets rose because of that issue and went to the sand filter building, it would have plugged all the sand filters. We would have had to bypass all that waste to the river. And now DEP's up here wondering what the heck is going on. So it's not just that little wipe can cause serious problems. So that being said, craft has been causing some problems too as of late. I haven't heard back yet. Of course, I was off today, so I don't know about the tour for craft on Wednesday. I don't know if that's still a go or not. I haven't heard back from
anything
craft.
back yet either.
So their management wanted to come over and see our process and see what we had going on so they could understand, just like you guys did when you came over. So we're hoping we can get them over there. The last month, I don't know what's happened, but they have had a couple of spills. There's been some things that they don't know what went on, but we've had a lot of time in over there. We violated, we did have a permit violation this month on turbidity, so we were over our limit, cranking a chemical to it.
Over what, 2,000?
About 2,000 over. I think we're allowed 22 or
Something like
2,200
23
minutes, and we were at 4601.
It was like twice the amount.
Yeah, and the colors that were over there, they were new even from when the plant was screwed up a couple years ago, so I don't know what exactly it was, but when it does that, we can't do anything with it. It just goes through.
Maybe
so.
it's time that we talked pre-treat before it comes over too, to help. I don't know.
It couldn't hurt, but you know, if they follow their protocols and they do the things they're supposed to do, get a spill, contact us. It's 30 minutes before it gets to us, so we can have an operator there to divert the flow into a separate tank, and then we can feed it in slowly. If they just don't bother to do that, you know, I have no problem getting up at 2:30 in the morning to come in and flip that valve, as long as it saves the next headache for the next 4 weeks, because that's what it takes to get that out of there. So if they do that stuff, if they can follow their protocols, then they can certainly ease things up on that end of things. So that'll be the conversation, you know, that'll take place. So
this has been a problem that you guys have seen?
It's been a problem on and off since, I would dare say, 1977 when the plant went online. I've heard horror stories before I got there of the river being white from the spills. So it would just blow right through the plant. There's pictures over at the plant. Sometimes when you guys are there, I can pull them out and show you that the clear water that's usually going to the river looked like skim milk.
I've had it once where I got called in. Every single tank was white as that paper. They lost a whole big tower. So, yeah.
So, you know, it's been on and off. The past year was really good. And now they've got a new system over there. They're doing R&D on that, I guess. I don't know if that's part of the problem, but you know, they say they're working on it. Hopefully they are. But it definitely, the past month has been, it smells like sour milk over there at times. So it's been a bit of a struggle. So other than that stuff, we've been getting a lot of stuff done. Like I mentioned, the grinder came in. Hopefully that's going to get installed here soon. See where it's looking at their calendar. The belts for the sludge conveyor, we're looking to install them next week. BDP was there working on the screw press. They've got the polymer dose lower, and they're working on new ways to try to get that even more lower to save some cost. And of course the rag issue. I do have 2 requests to the board this month. The first one is budgeted for Tom Ellis Heating to install electronic ignition on our sludge building boilers at a cost of $28.51, and that is an 80% village, 20% city cost. That's up like $200 from their budget figure, but we were having problems. They were pilot lights, so when the wind blows, it blows pilot lights out, and you get there in the morning and there's no heat in the building. It's a big building and it takes all day to heat it back up, so this will cure that. Just like to get that done.
We'll need a motion on that.
I motion that we do that.
I'll second.
Motion made second to take care of the boilers. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The last one is a request for Taggart Electric to replace some conduit and boxes in our dechlorination room. DEP inspector recommended that they get changed. They're just old and corroded, and they got kind of overlooked on last year's kind of change out, so he asked that get done. And we're also looking to add a new light. Total cost will be $3,429, and that's going to be 100% New York City cost.
Okay, need a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion made second to take care of the lighting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's it for me.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Brown? How are you, Bill?
Hey, everyone.
Yep.
Family else needs. I don't have anything actually to ask for this month, but just a couple of updates. We've talked for some time and kind of following up on Butch's information with the I&I. We did apply this past month for a grant to fund an I&I study, which will basically go around the village with cameras and take an inventory of the collection system, clean it out, take an inventory, and see what other issues may need to be addressed. So funding was applied for that through EFC, and should find out in December. So look at that. Nothing else much more on our end from the wastewater plant. Shepherd Street, we kind of touched base on. A few different projects with CWC which are ongoing. Finishing up the flood assessments for the various properties in the village. We got 2 done. We've got 4 more that we're finalizing. We are also looking to put in an application to CWC to look at redesigning the bridge at Third Brook. So there's, to address flooding. It's one of the recommendations in the LFA, and there's been a number of studies done for the last 10 years or so to look at changing the alignment and the sizing of the DOT bridge on Third Brook. DOT hasn't moved forward with addressing it, so the Village and Flood Commission looking to try to find other monies to move that project forward. So looking at some options there. That's all I had tonight. I think everybody else kind of touched on other stuff we were kicking around. So,
Okay, guys, any questions?
So with that study for the bridge,
yep.
In a feasibility study, do they look at like different traffic patterns that you have to compensate for?
Yeah, that would be part of the design for the bridge. So whether there's long-term traffic adjustments, probably more so short-term, what it's going to look like during construction. Obviously not going to be able to shut down Delaware Street, so we'll probably some means of a temporary bridge. Right. Changing the alignment of the bridge so it's not, now it's almost a 90-degree bend where it comes in from the auction barn and goes across, in front of TA's there. So trying to open that up a little bit. But we've got to accommodate Craft's driveway, TA's on the other side, West Street on the other side, the auction barn. So kind of a lot of moving parts in that area. So need to do a survey and soil borings and a variety of different things to try to address all that. That'll take a while. But that's why I'm reaching out to CWC, like I said, as it's a recommendation in the LFA, the local flood assessment, as are a number of other projects that have been advanced throughout the village. Once they're in the LFA, then it's something that CWC can look to fund. So we're trying that route. It is a DOT bridge. If and when it gets reconstructed, it would get turned back over to DOT, and it would be theirs to own and maintain. So it needs to be built to their specs and their standards, so that ultimately they resume ownership of it when it's all said and done.
Okay. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Fletcher.
It's good evening.
Yeah.
Everybody got my report?
Yep.
Questions?
There's always questions, but I'm not going to ask them.
Never on the report. All right, I was at a flood commission meeting today. One of the questions that came out of that, the owner of 13 Benton Avenue, and I have a map here and I need to steal a pen, which would be that property. The owner of 13 Benton has put in for a feasibility study or payment for design to elevate that structure. CWC expressed some concern because that particular property has been mentioned in the LFA. There's a number of scenarios that the LFA looked at for that area. The Benton Avenue Bridge, possibly acquiring 13 and 14 Benton Avenue and putting in a 120-foot span, acquiring, I think it was just 13 Benton Avenue and putting in a 90-foot span, doing nothing at all, and another option was to remove Benton Avenue Bridge, not acquire any property, but remove the bridge, reclaim what floodplain you could reclaim. So with this property owner putting in for monies to actually elevate the house, CWC wanted the village support in terms of, moving forward with that application. Realistically speaking, if we do anything there, that's probably the newest bridge in the village. I believe it was replaced after the 96 flood.
I guess when it was, yeah.
And bridge lifespans are 50, 75 years. If we do anything there, it's going to be 10, 15, 20 years down the road, I would guess. To me, it makes sense. If this guy wants to make a go of it there, we might as well support him in protecting that property so long as he's there. So I would need basically just a board resolution to be supportive of his application for feasibility and or design to CWC.
Do we have to need to drop something like that, or can we just do it as a...
Just do a motion.
Just do a motion?
Yep.
Okay.
Make the motion.
Okay, got a motion made.
I'd second that.
Motion made and seconded to go ahead and let the gentleman raise his house the way he wants to be here.
Elevate, not raise.
That's right, elevate, not raising it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And when I was sitting in the peanut gallery, it dawned on me it's August, which means that training is coming up in September. I don't have a bunch of the gory details, but I would ask that I can spend up to $600 split with the town for my training. I usually go to the annual Fire Marshals Convention for 3 days. This year I believe is in Syracuse, but they still haven't put out all the gory details yet. But I would ask permission for that. Like I said, we'd spend up to $600. It's going to be a couple $100 for hotel room and $300 thereabouts for registration for the training.
That's split with the village, that's our portion.
Yep. Well, no.
It's gonna be split
It
on
would
top.
be total of $600, give or take, and that total would be split with
Okay, so you're
the
looking at-
town. So $300.
300 and change each.
Right.
Okay, need a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Motion made second to take care of his training in September. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Anybody else want a pretty picture?
I'll take one.
Yeah, she'll need one for the folder. I got them all over here. I got them all over.
There, I got it.
I didn't even feel it.
All right, trustees report. Jen, anything? Mr. Doig?
Nothing.
Hey?
Well, the theater people spoke, and Brian spoke. So one other thing is that the theater's booth at the fair is going to have a theme about the new balcony restoration.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Eric?
Just wanted to mention that I had mentioned to you that I spoke with Senator Metzger about a webinar concerning some funds that are going to be available for water system repairs in municipalities. So I'm going to be going forward with that webinar and hopefully get some money this way.
Yeah, so we can fix up some of our water system that hasn't been done yet. Okay. Mayor's report. The only thing I've got is what we talked about before about the application for the drains and runoff and stuff for the village was in conjunction with the town. What they've done, the study through CNS. This is an application from CWC for me to sign to have them go ahead with it. They're going to seek the funding of $50,000 to do the study and then return it to us. So it's not going to cost us anything, so.
We need a motion.
We need a motion for me to go ahead and sign that.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made and seconded to sign the CWC application. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, that's it for me. Budget amendments. We had a chance to take a look at them. Did you go through your folders? I said, look at you, go through your folders. Everybody had a chance to look at the budget amendments?
Yep.
Everybody in agreement on them? Okay, like a motion on that?
Motion to approve the budget amendments.
Motion made and seconded to approve the budget amendments. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next thing, the Spaghetti Moms. That's what they call themselves. Kimberly Jacob, they want to go ahead and do what they usually do, put the football signs up for the football season around on all the poles that they normally do. So we need to make a motion on that one.
Sure, I'll make a motion for that.
I'll second.
Motion made second for them to go ahead and put their signs up. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, the next one is Walton Central School tax collection. They want to use the boardroom during their tax collection season.
So they're looking to collect taxes here for the school taxes on September 6th, September 27th, and October 31st.
And our calendar's pretty much clear for those dates.
Yep.
Make the motion.
Motion made and seconded to let them use the boardroom. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next thing is the registration voters for up at the pool. Myself, there's no precedent set on that yet. We have no policy, and we talked with council over that, and they strongly suggest that we don't do that on the village property. You know, another property of somebody else is fine, but not on the village property. So I gotta ask everybody for a favor or not to do that, so need a motion as to not doing the registration at the pool.
I'd make a motion for no action if we could explore what a policy would be for groups that would want some sort of
We can do no action.
deal in the future.
I think, didn't the attorney recommend we don't let anybody do it?
Yeah, not anybody, but if you guys want to explore something, but I strongly suggest that we don't do it. And not even get into making up a policy for it. I mean, it's something if a group wants to come and do it, I mean, they can set up in front of a storefront or wherever, you know, if they've got permission from their store owners.
I'm in favor of voter registration, so I'll be on the record as being for letting them do it.
Yeah.
I guess let's take a vote then right now. Who's in favor of doing the voter registration at the pool?
I am.
Would you say yes or no?
I would vote, what's it when you don't take a position? Present.
Okay. Who's against?
No.
So, 2 against, 1 for, so it doesn't carry.
Okay.
Next is NICOM training for the board members. Has everybody had a chance to look and see if there's a day or 2 or whatever to go to some of the classes at NICOM?
Yeah, I was looking at, I believe it was the Thursday,
Okay,
specifically the day that had the grant writing seminar I'd like to go to.
okay. Eric, were you gonna get a chance to go?
Yeah, I was going to look at, well, I looked at it last time I was here. Definitely would be interested.
Okay.
I looked at some on budgeting, and I think we'd be interested.
Okay.
I looked at it, I have to still wait to see what my school schedule is gonna be.
Okay.
I haven't gotten that yet, so I won't know for probably another week or so.
So what we're looking at is $100 or $260 per person per day for the NICOM training, and the staff is going to be going, meaning Jody and Misty, for the whole program. So we need to get that approved also.
We did, you approved Misty and I to go last time.
We did on that one?
Yep.
Okay, it was just for us
Just for you
trustees
guys.
and the mayor?
Yep.
Okay, so looking at all of us want to take a chance to go. So I need a motion to spend $260 per person per day.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Motion made and second to spend that for the training at NICOM, and it is up in Saratoga,
Springs, yep.
Saratoga Springs for the day. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next is the court audit. We had a chance to take a look at the audit that they prepared on the court.
Clean.
The audit said we were doing things pretty well.
Yep.
I was happy with that.
Looked good.
So,
We just need a motion
yep,
for
just a
the mayor
motion
to
for me
sign.
to sign it to approve it.
I motion to sign it.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to sign the courtroom audit. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. Now, you're gonna have to remind me on this Wayne Bank collateral agreement.
They came, remember we had a meeting
Yep.
with the lady from the bank? We're just doing a different,
They're just doing a different form.
right,
Different
and we
format.
checked with the attorney and the auditors, and they didn't see anything wrong with that. We just need authorization for the mayor and me to sign
So it takes care of the collateral as far as
Yep.
the bank covering us.
for all the money we have over there.
Yep. So, get a motion on that?
Sure, I'll make a motion.
Second?
Motion made and seconded for me and Jody to sign that for the Wayne Bank collateral agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now, gentlemen, we're rolling right along, so what you got's gotta be short and sweet.
It will be.
I'd like to introduce,
Do we sit here or?
nope, come on up here to the table, guys.
This is like my first time ever been to this court, or excuse me, court.
It's not a
This-
court.
Excuse me. When I was in here, it was over there.
Lou, silence your phone,
Last
buddy.
time I was in here, a fire truck sat here. No, it
Not
didn't.
here, sat right next door.
Right next door, yeah.
These gentlemen are here to give us a little brief insight of what's going on with emergency services here. Not just in Walton, but we're specifically talking about Walton, but it's also something that's hitting
Yeah.
nationwide, really. But it's basically lack of people volunteering, and it's the ambulance service is dying. So go ahead, gentlemen, give us your...
No, basically, the reason we're here tonight is just to, in fact, prior to being here, we were up at the town board meeting, chatting with them, just trying to get all the, I guess the best term is stakeholders, which would be the town, the village, the fire district involved. Lou and I are both in the fire department emergency squad. And about a little over a year ago, a group of individuals in the fire department looked at mostly on the EMS side, is the number of calls that we were not able to respond for, basically due to lack of available personnel. Most of the time, the greater percentage is during the day, but it's bled over into the evenings as well, mostly due to the fact that today, in this, 2019, there's not as many people in the voluntary ranks out there as there were 10, 15, over the years and I won't even go to all the reasons. I mean, I first moved here in 1973. You had all sorts of factories, Downbat, the foundry. I mean, you had all ones that would let the people go any time of the day to respond to calls, EMS and fire. And nowadays, all the aforementioned are long gone. And the only one left here won't allow the people to leave. And so it's cut down on the volunteerism. Fire calls are being handled, and but even then we don't get as many people. But on the EMS side is the area that we're really interested in, is because emergency medical services is we're getting to the point where some months our number of missed calls are 30%. In one month it was I think 42 or 45, I don't know the exact numbers, but the numbers are good. And it's not because people aren't interested, but if people aren't available, you can't respond to the calls. And if the people can't respond, then we go to mutual aid. The nearest mutual aid is difficult. Years ago, Trail Creek, Downsville, around us, all these agencies had emergency squad. Trail Creek now has one EMT in their whole agency. Downsville has a difficult time getting animals off the floor for their own people. Masonville is out of business, basically to say. So anyway, our numbers are getting not good. So we put together a committee of people a little over a year ago to look at worst case scenarios, what can we do? Because what we don't want to happen is what happened up in Stanford. I don't know if you're familiar with what happened up in Stanford a little over a year ago. Is on February or March 1st, a year ago, they closed their doors. Sold their ambulance, said, we're out of business. And the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that in the general municipal law says that every municipality, whether it be city, town, or village, incorporated village, has to provide fire protection. It says nothing about EMS. It's not an essential service in the state of New York. And that's why over the past 10 years, 200 agencies across the state, volunteer agencies, have shut down. And when you look at the numbers, there's only 20% of volunteer agencies left in the state now than there was 10 years ago. For that reason is lack of volunteers. Now, when that happens, what takes place? Well, in Stanford, it fell back on the local commercial agency, which they aren't really designed to cover the whole district. They have a number of ambulances. They do come here when we can't respond to a call. Sometime if they're sitting in Hamden, they're here in 10 or 15 minutes. There's other times it's 45 minutes to get here. So in looking at this, in the district and in the fire department, I mean, we're interested in having an essential service that is there with consistency and good response to the people in the community. And really the only way to go about that is to basically as a lot of communities have done, Hancock went through this, Sydney went through this, is to come up with paid personnel as an employees. And so what we are looking at is coming up with a plan involving both the district as well as the village and the town to come up with some way of providing ambulance service for our residents, and basically having a paid driver and a paid EMT that live at the location, probably the fire station. A lot of this is in its infancy. We're trying to work things out. We had a representative from DOH down last Wednesday who spoke with us, gave us a lot of insight on a lot of different patterns that were out there, plans that other agencies across the state have gone through, of these agencies that have shut down. There's a lot of different ways. It can be for-profit, not-for-profit. There can be ambulance districts. But at the end of the day, coming up with paid personnel, that way you're going to have people guaranteed to be there to respond to the call. Our basic interest is, as I mentioned, the people that live in the town, village of Walton. And one thing that we did find out, as I sit on the State EMS Council, one of the people came to me last September, mentioned to me about the CON, which is the operating authority for our ambulance. And he said to me, people have to do something about this because it's still owned by the village of Walton. And then in January at the meeting, he came up to me and said that we have to, with the district, because we're running the ambulance, is that the operating authority still is with the village of Walton. And he sent me the document signed in 1975 by Dick Yarnes, who was then squad captain, and the entities of this village. And for certain, the operating authority is owned by the village of Walton.
Well, I talked with FASD lawyers, and they're not 100% on that.
Well, this is...
Yeah, like I said, it's all talk.
I showed right now. I gave Steve a copy of the letter from the Department of Health that in their opinion, and that can be argued back and forth, but in their opinion, that's what they're operating on. So, The state representative said to us in a way that could be something that could be helpful, because fire districts cannot bill, and obviously if you're going to have a paid agency, somebody's got to pay the people. And the thing being is that the way it is right now, and again, this is something we figured, this plan that we put together was put on the shelf back in December to hopefully never be used, but we figured sooner than later, hoping it would be later. But over the past few months, it's become evident that it's probably going to be sooner, that we need to do something if we're going to continue offering ambulance protection to the people that live here. Unless we end up closing our doors like Stanford did, and then it's every person for themselves. And basically, AMR, whenever they get here, they'll pick you up, or Delhi, or whoever else. I mean, but we don't want that to happen. But in order to have that not happen, we have to come up with some sort of a plan between the entities here to come up with paid people, to pay those paid people. And of course, to pay them is most places have gone to billing. And being that a fire district can't bill, and the village holding the CON means that the village could bill. And then that would be the way that you would come up with the funds to run the organization. But in bringing this whole thing together with the stakeholders, obviously the town's going to be involved, as well as the district, because the district currently owns the ambulances, that to get together with all the stakeholders and come up with a plan that is acceptable to everybody to run an organization that's running an ambulance. Started small, staffed with an EMT and a driver to cover our needs, and then if the need grows, they can grow with it. But the other option is that if things keep going the way they're going, the squad, as far as the Walton Fire Department, the district goes, may have to end up closing their doors, because we just don't have the people. I mean, we don't have people banging down our doors. I have an EMT class starting here in a few weeks, and we have one person signed up for it. And that's, I mean, they have a class running this summer. They have 3 people in the class this summer. And the only reason they're running it is because the director of EMS is running it, and she's got to be there anyway. And the irony of those people in the class, only one is from Delaware County, the other 2 are from an adjoining county. So, I mean, it's the people aren't there. So, I don't know. There's no clear answer. We talked to DOH on this and got their input from it. Steve was the other night to listen to the gentleman. We're gonna this weekend. I have a fancy convention to go to, of which a gentleman and his son, who are very in depth as far as being EMS attorneys out of Albany, are going to be there. And I know them both very well. I teach with the one gentleman on the EMS side, and
Terry's the one I talked with the other day.
Was it? Yeah. And again, just to look at different ideals that are out there. And but the reason we're here tonight is just to talk to the board here to let you know what we're thinking of, what we're looking at doing. Hopefully getting the town and the village and the district to work together to come up with a plan that is consistent and regular for the people of our community to provide an ambulance service to. Because I think the last thing anybody wants to have happen is what has happened. And I use Stanford because that's not that far up the road and in our county. In fact, if you read the reporter just last week for the county board, Steve Hood, who was the director of emergency services, and Maggie, the EMS coordinator, spoke to them about the problem, I mean, in the whole county. And it is in the whole county.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, Trail Creek's down.
It's not unique just to us.
It's not. What we're looking at, as far as the district and the squad and ourselves, are the village, are the people that we serve here in the town and village of Walton, and the little sliver of Hamden up that way that we cover. As far, actually, it's a part of the school district that is in the CON.
Yep.
And but that's what we're looking at.
Like Dave said, we're trying to get some sort of plan. It's in its infancy. We don't want to see our ambulance just close its doors just like that. And an ambulance service in Fulton County on February 6th notified the state and notified the region at 8 o'clock February 6th that they closed their doors. And when the people showed up to go to work that morning, the doors were locked. They had no ambulance service. There's been, in Delaware County, we've had one ambulance service that has closed its doors. We've had 2 other ambulance services that have gone to a paid service, like you said, Hancock and Sydney. Sydney is now taking and operating Masonville and Sydney. In Hamilton County, they've had 2 ambulance services close their doors, and Fulton County's had 3 ambulance services close their doors, and Montgomery County's had 1 ambulance close their doors just in the last 10 years.
So there's a lot of struggle that's out there.
It's big. We're in a crisis. It's going to get worse. It's not going to get any better.
And there's a lot of plans, like right now, even in our county, of different agencies looking at larger plans. But the thing is that when our discussions is that the bigger the plan, the longer it's going to take to implement it. And what we're looking at is covering our own people here. We have the people, we have the assets that, and we also have the ability, with the way that the paperwork now lies, that we could basically start up sooner, very much sooner than later, to keep providing that service. I don't know what the numbers are for this month, but I think month before last, I think it was like 42% of the calls we dropped, which is sad. But you can only respond to the people you have available. And as we all know, most of the people in this community, work out of town. I mean, during the day, daytimes, there's not people around to respond as there was years ago. And I don't know of any easy answer. I look at the younger people coming in, and even on the fire side. I mean, as you two can say, in the fire department. When I first got involved in the fire department, there was 160 members in waiting list. Now we got 58 members, of which 20 some of them are in the squad. But it's...
Okay, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
That's all. Just let you know what's going on, and
keep looking forward on it.
Yep, and we will keep in touch. And as things formulate.
Thank you. Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Anybody else got anything before I ask to be going into executive session?
No.
Okay. Need a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second?
Motion made, second to go into executive session. All in favor?
Aye. Smart Alec.